your life would become such that you'll become effortlessly an environmentalist.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who loves nature is an environmentalist, even if they are not doing many of the actions which are environmental friendly.
Hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Teresia Gitao, and this is the Eco Gitu KE podcast. And today I am joined by one amazing youth representatives of Brahma Kumaris. And I know you're wondering, even before I introduce him, what is this institution? Because I know you're like, what? I'm like, yes. So the group is Brahma Kumaris, and it is a worldwide spiritual movement that is dedicated to personal transformation and world renewal. It was founded actually in India in 1937, and Brahma Kumaris has spread to over 110 countries, including Nairobi, Kenya. And it's in all the continents in the world, and it has had an extensive impact in many sectors as an international non-governmental organization. Their real commitment is to help individuals to transform their personal perspectives of the world from material to spiritual. And also, it supports the cultivation of the deep collective consciousness of peace and of the individual dignity of each soul. And the guest who is joining me today, let me tell you, as you'll get to hear him, you'll just understand the peace, the calmness that oozes whenever he speaks. He's an amazing, brilliant youth, and this is Chantal Mandel. And to just give you what he does is that he calls this planet his home. He's presently living and volunteering for Brahma Kumaris in UK in London. And Shantanu's personal journey with the environment started in 2015 when he decided to become a vegan. Let me tell you. And this actually led to a lot his engagement in climate activities. He was the rapporteur of the COI in Paris, and he helped develop the Youth Manifesto. He participated and facilitated as a mentor of LCOIs and organized LCOIs in India. That is, I know when I say LCOIs, it's the Local Conference of Youths in India in 2019 and 2020 and 2022. In 2019, he was one of the 7 youths to be funded by UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework of Convention on Climate Change. And let me tell you, I'm jealous of him, but to this point, to attend COP25 in Madrid. And since 2019, he's been representing Brahma Kumaris youth in the UNEP, UNFCCC, and UNCCD. He has attended 4 COPs, and also he's involved in the UN Food Systems Summit. He is also the facilitator of environment and faith in steering committee of the United Nations Environment Program Major Group for Children and Youth. We call it UNEP MGCY. And his main areas of work has taken a benevolent and holistic approach to activism based on a shift in consciousness. Shantanu is passionate about connecting values and the application to the field of education, awareness, well-being, and youth. Wow, Shantanu. Hi, how are you?
I must say, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everybody who's listening. I must say, wow, for Teresia, because I didn't know you were going to read all of that, then I would have sent you a smaller version of that.
No,
So sorry.
no. That is very good because I think everyone needs to know the amazing work that you get to do. Like, this is amazing. Let me tell you, this is just an inspiration because I know whenever I will be looking at 2023, I'll be like, there are people that I need to look up to. And then I'm like, tick, tick. This is just a source of inspiration. So thank you so much for sending.
Thank you so much. Touched. Yeah.
Yes, and one thing that I wanted to start with is I've just understood your journey starting from 2015. And what I want to know is what is Brahma Kumaris doing on environment?
So, as any other organization, we also are very careful and concerned with environment. When I say careful, because full of care, we need to care for Mother Nature.
Yes.
But also we are concerned, which means we try to look into how the way we live. So the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative, or the Brahma Kumaris as an organization, we believe in five principles that can support anyone to start a beautiful journey for a love with Mother Nature. Or you can call it your environmental journey or anything like that. But for us to put it in a very simple language is your uh, new love for nature.
Mm-hmm.
So the five principles is, one is living simply.
Mm-hmm.
So which means connecting with the value of simplicity. So living with simplicity. Second is buying compassionately. So it's not just random purchasing and breathless purchasing. It is buying with a consciousness, and
Mm-hmm.
that consciousness should be full of compassion. So that already helps you to go and pick the right things from the market.
Mm-hmm.
So living with simplicity, buying compassionately. Third is using economically.
Mm-hmm.
So in my everyday life, am I able to ensure that the amount of resources I am using is the right amount, or am I overusing them? So using
Mm-hmm.
economically. Third is learning continuously.
Mm-hmm.
Today I would be learning something from you, tomorrow you will be learning something from me. So if I'm learning continuously, it shows that we are alive. Dead bodies don't learn anything. So if I
Mm-hmm.
am alive, we have to be learning. And the fifth and the last thing is sharing generously.
Mm-hmm.
The energy of sharing, and we do share things, we do share ideas and other things, but when I say generously, it means when I am sharing, I should remind myself that I have so much that I don't have to think or worry. So we cannot generously share probably materials, but we can generously share our good wishes. We can generously share our experiences. We can generously share happiness. We can
Mm-hmm.
generously share love, peace. So sharing generously is the fifth point from the five things that we believe can really develop the environmental spirit within.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. And as I get to hear you, I know it's by the time we're bringing the aspect of faith, there is this notion that the living simply, the no consumerism, because now you're talking about you need to be conscious of why you're going to buy something. Now the question is, why is that important? Use it economically. And you see, you're touching on different genders at the same time. When it comes to ladies, us and buying clothes, we have like a lady can have like 70, 80 pieces of clothes. Men, when it comes to cars, to their electronics, it can be quite something. So now the question is, how do you blend that to now with this society that is more of let us consume through? Why is that important? Why is the living simply um no consumerism and just trying to use economically so important?
Mm. So one thing is, it's not to be consumer, but we all
Mm-hmm.
are consumers, but
Yes.
to be buying compassionately.
Okay.
So that is the term, why? Because let's say, let's understand what happens psychologically to one person when someone is buying something.
Mm-hmm.
When I go and buy something, it does three things at the time. One is, it gives me the sense that I have gained something. It gives me the sense that I am powerful and I can achieve things.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me a sense that this is really useful for me. But if one of these things are not getting fulfilled, then that purchase is not really a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am buying something and if I'm not feeling that this is going to increase the way I am today to a better person, if it is not adding to my value, then it's not a good purchase.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm purchasing just to, be bossy and show off and things like that, then it is something that is going to become an obstacle for me because somebody else can buy a better thing than I can buy.
Mm-hmm.
There will be always a better thing. There would be always a consumer who can buy more. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving my remote control of happiness and contentment to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing is, if I am purchasing consciously, I'm able to make decisions that not just empowers or impacts me, but it also impacts the people around. The
Mm-hmm.
whole chain of this marketing and production is impacted with my choices.
Mm-hmm.
The Let's say if I buy something today, like I buy a little shoe, and I have to ask myself before I'm buying, is this something that I cannot do without? Or is this something that I can do without? So if I am getting this honest answer that yes, I can do without this, it's not necessary for me, I should immediately not buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because if I still go and buy it, what I did was I silent my conscience. The conscience was telling you, don't buy it, you don't need it. The moment I silenced it, it might look like, oh, it's a simple purchase of shoe. But what happened is we actually quietened our conscience at a very vital time.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have made it quiet, next time when you are going to, should I ask this person out? The conscience would be quiet because it has now got the signal that whenever there is a question, no point giving suggestions to this person because he'll always make me quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So doing one act once will leave a memory. Doing
Mm-hmm.
it twice will make that memory more strong. And after 3 or 4 times of doing that, it will become a habit. So what happens each time I go and uh, buy uh, like zombies, if I'm just going and buying, what I'm doing is I'm not asking, and even if I'm asking, I'm kind of quietening my intellect. The intellect would stop working,
Mm-hmm.
and this would impact my whole life. It would not just impact my purchasing capacity or purchasing habits, it would impact me everywhere in each field of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the mind would stop working when you're going to buy and it will start working when you are in front of your desktop to work. It will work always. The intellect would work always. So it is important that every decision that I make, every choice that I make, every action that I do is creating my way of thinking, my way of acting. It is creating me. And that's why it is very important to be compassionate when I'm buying. So if I am a woman who needs a lot of things, and have to ask myself, which are the most important things here? If I am a man who loves shoes and sneakers, because I used to be one of those, used to have maybe 10 or 15 pair of shoes for myself. And so I have to ask myself, do I really need so many? Because at a time, my foots would be going inside only one pair of shoes. The rest would be just waiting there. So
Yeah.
can I just do without this? And I,
Mm-hmm.
I worked for it.
Mm-hmm.
I lived with a single pair of footwear for 3 years, unless and until it went off.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to challenge myself
Mm-hmm.
that am I able to live a life with just one pair of shoes, unless and until there's a need. And it went out so well. I went to Madrid with that pair of shoes. And I went to COP, and people said, in COP, you can't come with such kind of a footwear. It looks so casual. I said,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's looking at my shoes. They're looking at me.
Oh.
And what I'm going to do is more important than what I wear.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, oh no, you are crazy, it is cold. This I said, let me try. And after trying it, I really felt like, yes, I have this conviction, I have this hidden power of determination that came out with a simple, silly step.
Mm-hmm.
It was a silly step for many, but for me, it was like, okay, let me try this silliness and see if it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
It worked for me, it helped me grow. So whatever we do, it should help us grow
Yeah.
individually.
Okay. And as I get to hear that, I understand is that we need to go back to all of this consciousness, but also there are people of faith who have different beliefs when it comes to caring for our environment. And I know that those There's some who are called climate deniers. There are those also when you look at maybe, let's say, Africa, and also particularly, let me speak about my country, Kenya, is there are people who believe that God created the world, the planet to be self-sufficient. So there is nothing that we can do. And I think we had this discussion in a panel another time, is that everything is going to be okay. God created it to be self-sufficient. So why all this talk about climate change? So why should we um take care of it, yet there's a higher power that is, depending on what you believe in, who's going to be taking care of all of this? What is your take?
So um, it can be answered in an example. For example,
Mm-hmm.
I am a child, 10 years who takes care of me. And one fine day, I
Mm-hmm.
found my mother very sick. You know, she's not able to come out of the bed. She's not doing good. What should I do? Should I just tell myself, oh, my mom is elder to me. She's so big. She's big, really tall, big. She does everything in the house. So she can definitely become fine in few days and she'll come back. And I should just sit and wait. What would that 10 years child do? The natural consciousness of that child will say, Mama, can I do this for you? Take this, take water. It'll try to cook something which is very tasteless, but it would like to cooperate with the mother.
Yeah.
It'll burn the bread, it'll do everything, but the child would love to cooperate with the mother so that the mom should not feel the burden of doing everything by itself. To
Mm-hmm.
recover, this is what is needed. To recover is needed what the most important thing needed to recover is love, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
good wishes. They work better than medicines.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have your medicines, which
Mm-hmm.
means the actions. For example, Mother Earth is sick, the actions are living simply, buying compassionately, and all that. But before all that, do I have enough goodwill, good wishes, and love for Mother Nature? Am I just becoming such negate to the idea that no, no, my mother is not sick, no, no, she's not sick, she's all good, no, no? Or am I saying I can see and feel that she's sick, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just pray that my mother is healing, this is good, my good energy of prayers is working on her, can I just meditate for her? If you can't do any of the actions, you can do these things. And once you start doing these things, you will connect from heart to Mother Nature. And then naturally, your life would become such that you'll become effortlessly an environmentalist.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who loves nature is an environmentalist, even if they are not doing many of the actions which are environmental friendly. If they
Mm-hmm.
love genuinely, and if they believe that I am receiving from Mother Nature, so there should be a, you know, donation, there should be a service, they are serving Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
So even for those who consider themselves as climate deniers, just ask them, they should simply ask themselves, okay, there's no climate change, but
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. Can I love my Mother Nature in some way?
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's going to bring maybe a shift in the actions that they are doing on environment. At least it will bring some element of, let me take care of what is around
Yeah.
me. Ah, to
Okay.
bring on board, and I want to know is which faiths, apart from Brahma Kumaris, which faiths have you collaborated in the care for our environment? And also, I'd want to know, as you get to touch on it, is what were you doing at COP? Not you entirely, but
Mm.
the whole spiritual
Yeah,
movement.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
So the Brahma Kumaris, as you already shared with our audiences, that we were established in the year 1936, 37. So it's more than 8 decades. So in that journey of 8 decades, it is impossible to journey so long by yourself. Nobody can journey for that long, but all by themselves. Not even
Mm-hmm.
a single person, not even an organization.
Yeah.
So it always works and works with everyone and walks with everyone. So that is our whole way of being. So we have been able to collaborate with different interfaith organizations like URI or Religions for Peace, or it can be different interfaith bodies. So we do work with different faith-based organizations. Wherever there is this opportunity to collaborate, we'd love to come in on board and collaborate. We cannot collaborate in terms of money because we as an organization, we are a charity-based organization.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not, which means that whatever we do for whether it's an event or a service, whatever we are doing, we never charge anything from anyone for that.
Mm-hmm.
And how we are able to then continue our services is through charity. So because we are a charity run organization, we are not allowed to give away money. So what we then give is our cooperation. We come on board and help in managing things. We cooperate through our skills. We cooperate through our houses of faith, the places or the centers where we are located. If it has a place that can offer some space for some events to happen, we do offer that. So in various other ways, we do collaborate. And because of this collaboration, we are able to uh, make a lot of difference, whether it's localized or whether it's centralized or whether it's in intergovernmental panels and intergovernment sessions or scenarios like the UN sessions. So in the COP, that what Brahma Kumaris have been doing is, I think since 2009, we have been part of the COP conferences. And in the beginning, we used to be the only faith-based organization there. And people would just look at us with this crooked eyebrows and say, "What are you guys doing here? And what has spirituality to do with environment? You are not scientists, you're not decision makers. Why are you here?" So our message was very consistent from the very beginning. In the year 2009 onwards, we started taking away this message that consciousness and climate change are connected. If I start shifting my consciousness, the climate change would shift. So people would say, "Mm, it's an interesting thing, but that's it, nothing more." But it became interesting when we saw that UNESCO's central agenda for the decade is changing mindsets, not the climate. So it's not that when you are trying to do something, it will emerge out immediately. Like, for example, if you put a seed of, let's say, fenugreek, you will see the plant grow in few days. But if you put a seed of mango, the plant might not grow in few days. But that doesn't mean that the seed is invalid. Every seed has a different time to germinate. Similarly, we started in 2009 with the idea of consciousness and climate change are connected. Now many people talk about it, but 5, 6 years back, UNESCO took up this theme that changing mindsets, not the climate. You are putting your energy on the wrong place. You have to put that energy on yourself. So that was the main thing. So what we do is we do various kind of things. We do advocacy. We do partner and collaborate with organizations to take up aspects like awareness and education, all in terms of climate I am sharing here. Climate education, awareness. If there are projects where we can come together to take up an action, for example, beach cleanups or plantations or things like that, and waste collection. So there are various levels of doing these actions together. Then there are advocacy level. We, like, as you know, Teresia, we met in the COP and we have been pushing ourselves in a very gentle manner to the COP organizers that interfaith youth needs a space to talk about what they're doing, because few things make them different from many other youth. They are definitely young people, but there is a texture of activism which is very unique to the youth that comes from faith-based organizations. So we were lucky enough that this COP27 became a COP of first ever, first ever, first ever. The first of the first ever was the first ever interfaith youth press conference. And then we were able to do the first ever interfaith youth side event, which was an official side event of UNFCCC. UNFCCC does had an history of doing side events which are official side events, but they are all elderly and wise people from different faith communities. This was the first time when young people came and did this. And also UNFCCC became the first ever COP27 became the first ever COP to have children and youth pavilion. And so Brahma Kumaris was one of the steering committee members of creating this pavilion. So the COP27 gave us a lot of things to be really happy about and gave us a lot of more high targets to aim and achieve for the next coming COPs. But I would not say just COPs, but in general, we did have come back with a lot of aims and objectives. One of them being how to create a system or how to offer something that makes people more resilient, and how to help people to face climate anxiety or eco anxiety, how to help people in not letting go of their motivation. Because sometimes when you are a climate activist and you're working hard and you don't see the results so much, there's a trend of depression, there's a trend of agitation and irritation, frustration, hopelessness. So, how to cope up with that? These are the few things that people do consider them as soft things. They say, oh, the hard thing is to go and do something on the ground. It is good, it is important. But what makes you go and do that on the ground is your soft skills, is your values. So we do have this aim to make such co-create things with partners and friends that support youth more.
And in just in that line of partnership and working together, I'm wondering what are some of the impacts that you've had in your communities, wherever you are. I know there are in different countries, Brahma Kumaris is in different countries, but I'm just wondering, are you able to sample a few that
Yeah,
you
I think
in
one of the
particular?
ones,
Yes.
one of the impacts that you have seen with your own eyes was the Karura forest visit
Mm-hmm.
that we partnered, like Brahma Kumaris partnered with the Sinesa, with Act Alliance of Churches, the Swedish Youth Council. So we partnered there, and what did we create? Wasn't it magic?
Yeah, that was
I
magic.
mean,
I have to agree.
I
Yes.
still see, yeah, I still remember the faces of people when they entered and when they were exiting. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they were like, because it is funny, that sometimes you could be fighting for something and you would be very far off from that
Mm-hmm.
thing that you're fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
So they are all activists and they're fighting for nature, but sometimes it's important to come back to what you're fighting for, to
Yes.
be in nature. So that thing was called Uniting Hearts to Heal the World. So it's like a flagship collective consciousness building platform where young people or different faith-based organizations come together. We meditate and we share our good wishes for the planet and for anybody who's there who needs good wishes. So we simply do that. That has actually created a service that is unique. Nobody before this, in the Unia 5, what we did, nobody has thought of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't have done it by ourselves. There was a thought, but when the right friends came together, it became so easy to do it.
Yeah.
Similarly, something that we are doing with our community right now is plantation, but not plantation just like random plantation, planting with the right consciousness. So what we have done is we have created an app called Kalptaru. Kalptaru means the tree that grants all your wishes. So we have created an app whereby, let's say if Theresia plants a Magumo tree here today in
Mm-hmm.
Nairobi, she needs to click the app and put the tree there. And then what happens? For the next 75 to 100 days, the app would give you two information every day.
Mm-hmm.
One information on how to take care of the tree that you have planted,
Mm-hmm.
because many people don't have that education of environment to take care of plants.
Yeah.
Plants are not just water and sunlight. They are many things than that, more than
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So there
Uh-huh.
has to be a proper care of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So if the plant is one, like let's say a citrus variety plant like lemon or orange, it might need some other things than just a tree which is like say a banana or a coconut tree would need other things.
Yeah.
So to know what my plant needs, I will receive an information every day.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the second information would be on how to grow peace, love, humility, compassion, and tolerance within myself every day. So we send every day one creative activity or thought that can help person grow these five values in them. So what is happening is the tree is also growing, but also is the person growing together. So the seed there and the seed here, they are both growing together. And that's
Yeah.
why it's very beautiful. And the mantra is one person, one plant, one planet. So until now, we started it in the 50th World Environment Day last year. And up till now, we have been able to plant more than 1.6 million trees
Oh,
by
wow.
1.6 million people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say 1.6 million people, it is everyone, school children, college children, old people, young people, interfaith communities. Nobody is there who denies the joy they receive when they plant a sapling.
Mm-hmm.
And planting sapling is something which is doable by everyone, anyone and anywhere and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can grow something which is green. And the third thing that I would like to share here with our audiences, we are trying to work in the district of Kutch. Kutch is one of the largest arid districts of India. It's the
Mm-hmm.
largest district in India, but it
Mm-hmm.
is also one of the large arid districts in the world also.
Oh,
So
okay.
with very less population, so we are trying to work with these communities, village communities there to how to become resilient. So we are trying some of the regenerative practices like yogic agriculture, where we are introducing meditation as a power to enhance your agricultural produce. But that meditation is in return not just helping the produce, but also helping the producer. Because when they
Mm-hmm.
are meditating, it's easy
Mm-hmm.
for them to give away their addictions, to give away their anger. Their family relationships are becoming better. So to help them become a resilient community, we are bringing community to grow food forests together. How to do that? Every house to have a nutri garden, every primary school children to know the basic steps of doing plantation. So we are helping them to grow and become resilient. How to add more value to the food that you have grown. For example, you have okra,
Mm-hmm.
lady's finger.
Yes.
So what you can do to that it becomes useful for you when you don't have a produce. Because as I said, it's an arid and a restricted region because of the climatic conditions. So it could be made into powder, or it could be made dried up, or something. So people are getting these ideas, and we are trying to support them so that they start managing their own community. We also help them in managing grasslands for their cattle, because grassland management is also, people don't think grasslands are of much use. They just let their cattle go and eat, and the
Mm-hmm.
cattle would eat it in a day. Then tomorrow the cattle will go hungry and you'll start crying. So
Mm-hmm.
there has to be restricted grazing, there has to be a managed grazing, there has to be purposeful plantation of certain kind of grasses that are more beneficial to the animals than the others. So
Mm-hmm.
there are so many things in grassland management also, because grasses are also carbon sinks.
Yes.
They are also a big source of carbon sinking.
Mm-hmm.
But these things do not come easy, because first of all you need to work with the community, tell them that this is important, and they will tell you, oh, we have been living here for many generations, what are you going to tell us?
Yes.
But then you have to be with them with a lot of patience, with a lot
Yes.
of love.
Uh-huh.
Only then you can bring a shift.
That is very true. And finally, I know whenever there is this good, amazing work that is being done on environment, and especially with faith-based communities, there must be challenges. I know one or two, and that is one of the things that I would want to dig up so that at least our listeners and also our viewers may be able to just sit back and get to understand that it's not all roses. Despite the fact that all this is
Hmm.
going on well, there are challenges. So, what are some of the challenges that you've come across, and especially in this work of trying to care for our environment?
It's a very good question, because it
Yes.
brings us to think on the practicalities of designing a project or doing something. For
Mm-hmm.
example, with the Kalpataru, we are standing now at 1.6,
Mm-hmm.
but it was very difficult for us to convince people that use the app, it is for your own benefit. Sometimes they say, oh, we have so many apps on our phone, why do we need one
Yeah.
more?
Mm-hmm.
But it is important to tell them that, okay, use the app for certain number of days, and if you don't feel a difference in your own being, delete it. We don't want to create consumers, or we don't want to challenge someone saying that we have created the maximum number of database of app users. We don't even collect personal information, not
Mm-hmm.
even names.
Okay.
So it is a safe space, but it does have resources to help me come out of my anxiety. It is having safe space where I can take some meditation commentaries and use them for myself. There are a lot of good things. It will actually help me to learn how to do right kind of plantation. But to convince people that it is for your use, okay, people are there who would download it but not use it.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of that was a big challenge. And similarly, like in the resilient community development program, what we are facing is to confront the orthodox thinking of people that what is going on is fine, we are just good, there's no
Mm-hmm.
need to come and tell us that you need support.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes to be in that position where you have to
Yeah.
seek and ask for support, but to tell them that it's okay to be in this kind of a position, and it is okay to just ask for help. And when you are helping them and supporting them, you don't think that I'm supporting them because I'm better. I'm
Mm-hmm.
supporting them because I am able to make a difference. So there are challenges. There are challenges in terms of, for example, uh, I mean, I haven't seen it personally, but there might be faith-based organizations who are facing challenges when it comes to fund their projects, because the people who can fund, they might have a hidden agenda, and that could be of monetary benefit or commercial benefit or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas something that the faith-based organizations do, most of the times they are not looking for a return in terms of money, and
Mm-hmm.
that can leave the prospectful sponsors out of the game. This could be also a challenge. Another challenge that I have seen is that young people who are somehow connected to faith-based organizations, for example, they might not be a perfect Christian, but their family is. So they are kind of a, hanging and dangling Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And they might not be taking much of interest in what Christianity has to offer. So that is the problem here, where young people think religion or faith or spirituality is for an age. No, it is for me now. And how it is going to help me now is there might be one or two sentences in the Bible that might help them to come up with some great idea. There might be few sentences in the Gita or in the Quran or somewhere that talks about the present situation. So you do not go through these scriptures or textbooks with, you don't just read them because you believe in them. You just read them as how you read Wikipedia. Just read them and see if there is something useful for you. You don't have to take everything from there. Just something that clicks can become useful. So this
Mm-hmm.
hindrance, the inner hindrance that I should not be doing this hindrance of putting myself into a box that I am so and so I cannot be this, is the hindrance. This is the challenge. And lastly, I would like to say is that challenges, when you see them as challenges, you would always find difficulty to face them. But if
Mm-hmm.
you see them as opportunities, you will always be eager to have more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
When an opportunity, like when a challenge would come, you will say, oh, there's another challenge. And you'll be like, ah. But if you say there's another opportunity, you'll be like, yes, tell me.
Mm-hmm.
So changing the perspective from obstacles to opportunity is very important.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of challenges, you'll keep on thinking of things that take away your good energy. You should always look into it as an opportunity. This is an opportunity. I am not having this, not having this, not having this, but this is an opportunity for me to still show that I can still do it. So
Mm-hmm.
that brings back that motivation.
Okay, also, just before I forget, are there programs on environment that are being conducted that someone can sit down and get to listen in?
Yeah, there are certain programs that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a website called ecobrahmakumaris.org. So www.eco.brahmakumaris.org. So all our environmental initiatives are there, whether it's a youth base, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's agriculture, everything is there. And
Mm-hmm.
if there is something that you find you're calling to, you can simply connect and say, oh, I am interested in agriculture. Oh, I am interested in youth. What can we do together? When can I come and do something? So likewise, we can always connect.
Wow, thank you so much, Shantanu. And my dear listener, my dear viewer, that has been Shantanu Mandel, and he is a youth representative of Brahma Kumaris in different UN agencies. As I've mentioned, that is UNEP, UNFCCC, UNCCD, and also UN Food Systems Summit. And I don't know how much to say, just thank you, and also all this wealth of knowledge, because it is our responsibility to take care of our environment. And also, as he has mentioned throughout, we need to be conscious in everything that we are doing. And through that, as we are conscious of our actions, we are going to be peaceful, we're going to have love, and that is going to radiate to the environment out for you and I. Thank you so much. And this has been the Eco Gitu KE podcast. I have been your host, Teresia Gitao. Please remember to like, subscribe, and also to share this content with your friend, with a loved one.